It's November 23rd, 2023. After an abysmal 2-9-1 start to the season, the Edmonton Oilers are getting spanked 5-1 by the Carolina Hurricanes. After being named the favorites to win the Cup coming into the season, the Oilers are somehow sitting firmly in the basement of the NHL standings. With a coaching change already taking place and nothing going right for their superstars, this moment between Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl seemed like rock bottom for the entire franchise. Fast forward from that exact game 8 months later, and the Edmonton Oilers are 55-21-5 including the playoffs, and now they are 4 wins away from winning a Stanley Cup. Their 5 points are the fewest through 12 games in NHL history by a team that eventually went on to play in the Stanley Cup final. Right now we're witnessing one of the greatest comebacks unfold in front of our eyes, and when you take a deeper look into their adjustments in this series and throughout the season, it may just be enough to complete the story. After nobody was willing to give them a chance against the Dallas Stars, the Oilers just eliminated the best team in the West in 6 games. Edmonton has gone through adversity all season long, but their structure and adjustments have allowed them to navigate through the mess when things get ugly. What we saw in this series against the Dallas Stars is the accumulation of how much this team has evolved into the monster they are today. A big reason for that is because of their special teams, and in Game 6, the Oilers went 2 for 2 on the power play while going a perfect 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. First, let's start with the power play, which is operating at a ridiculous 37% in these playoffs, and that is largely because of the versatility of Connor McDavid. Most power plays have their superstars in set positions, but because McDavid can make a play in every scenario on the ice, he and the rest of the Oilers are constantly shifting their position from where they attack. On goal number 1 in this game, watch how McDavid and Draisaitl start on the same side of the ice and then shift as Draisaitl comes up high with the puck. Now McDavid has possession in an area where most penalty killers have traditionally seen him pass this puck backdoor to Zach Hyman. Instead of passing this puck, McDavid's going to throw a tiny shoulder fake to the middle of the ice. That's going to get Sam Steele to turn his skates to the inside, and then McDavid just attacks the heels and leaves him in the dust. Again, in this position, Dallas is still assuming that the best playmaker in the world is going to make a pass instead of driving into the middle of the ice. That leaves Miro Heiskanen left puck watching, and this sick puppy toe drags into the middle and goes roof, all in one motion for the first goal of the game. The chess match continues for goal number 2 on the power play. A few minutes before this goal, Connor McDavid is going to gain the blue line, and with a defender to his front and back, he's going to opt to rim this puck around to Draisaitl. Now that McDavid sees how the Dallas Stars are going to pressure him on the entry, he's going to leverage that knowledge to make a play. On his next entry, he notices a minor detail he can exploit. This gap between him and the defenseman is a bit bigger because of the initial pressure put on him by this forward. With McDavid knowing that eventually that forward is going to peel off and cover the drop pass behind him, McDavid's patience opens up a second of space for him to attack, and he perfectly dishes it to Hyman for goal number 2 on the power play. Just pure brilliance from the best player on the planet, and his tiny adjustments mixed with the versatility of the Oilers' power play gets them a quick 2-goal lead. Next, of course, is the penalty kill. The penalty kill for the Oilers was absolutely perfect in this series by not allowing a single power play goal, and that's possible because of how they denied entries and pressured in their own zone. Going back to November and when this team was struggling under Jay Woodcroft, they were operating at just 74% on the penalty kill. Then Knoblauch came in and gave consistency and purpose with every penalty killer. Instead of having pairs that put guys in spots that didn't suit their strengths, Knoblauch tweaked the personnel and structure to improve it to an 89% kill rate. On entries, the Oilers play a 1-3 like most teams, with the first forward trying to push the play into traffic. However, Connor Brown and Matthias Janmark are probably the best in the league at this as a pairing because their positioning and ability to read off of each other makes it so difficult for power plays to set up in the zone of possession. In Game 6, the Oilers' work off of the entry was a big reason why Dallas struggled and went 0 for 3 on the night. But even the pairing of Ryan and Nugent-Hopkins are just as effective. Now, if Dallas was able to get possession in the zone, Edmonton's aggressiveness and structure was flawless all throughout this series. The Oilers play a 1-1-2 in the zone, which basically has 3 defenders down low playing a triangle, while the one forward up high pressures and attempts to trap the play and force the puck to the walls. Watch Brown flex out to the middle with his stick to take away the cross-ice pass. Brown is going to angle him out so that he's got no choice but to go back to the wall, and his pressure almost creates a turnover. Now, as Brown heads to the wall, Janmark is going to fill in and flex out to the point. That forces a quick shot, which is blocked, and now we have a 2-on-1 the other way, which eventually leads to a shorthanded goal. The penalty kill was an adjustment that was made right away from when Knoblauch came in, and by tweaking the structure and the personnel, it has been pivotal to their run to the Cup final. Now, without a doubt, the Dallas Stars dominated this game, and Edmonton's 10 shots made NHL history by being the fewest in a conference finals clincher. They bent, but they didn't break, and again, they adjusted by shutting down the flyout play that exposed them earlier in the series. We made a video earlier in the week on how the Stars were using this flyout play to have their wingers blow the zone early and run almost like a calculated cherry pick at the blue line to stretch out the Oilers and create plays underneath. However, after getting absolutely cooked by that in Game 3, the Oilers adjusted by having their F3 retreat earlier to close out space. As the Stars win the faceoff, this winger right here is going to take off right away to the far blue line. Immediately, the Oilers center is going to lock on to Dallas's center, and as the F3, he's going to retreat early to make sure Edmonton has support up ice. That right there gives Ekholm the confidence to step up, make a play, and create a turnover. By having that F3 in the middle and retreating early, Dallas didn't have the same space to make plays underneath like they did in Game 3. Now, outside of the first 20 minutes of Game 6, the Oilers were basically in a defensive zone drill for the last 2 periods of this game. The Stars had a ton of zone time and shots because the Oilers simply weren't making a play with the puck. You can blame the nerves of the moment and not wanting to make a mistake for this, but in times where Edmonton could have made a dish to support for a controlled breakout, they opted to rim the puck to just quickly get it out of the zone. Dallas consistently sealed the boards to maintain pressure, but the defensive structure that the Oilers worked on all season long allowed them to break up plays and just survive. Of course, the main reason why the Oilers won this game was because of Stuart Skinner. He stopped 34 out of 35 shots for a .971 save percentage. That was the highest save percentage in a conference finals game in Oilers history. And given the struggles he had in round 2 of these playoffs, it's a testament to how strong he is mentally. In rounds 1 and 2, his goals saved above expected were near the bottom of these playoffs, but he shot up to the top in round 3, and he was brilliant for the Oilers when they needed him to step up. In games 4, 5, and 6, Stuart Skinner was instrumental to help the Oilers clinch a Cup final appearance. It certainly wasn't a pretty win, but the Oilers have found a way, just like they have all year long. All of these tactical adjustments, both in this series and all season long, has allowed the Oilers to create history with this run to the Cup finals. In November, this season looked like it was destined for failure. And in a moment where things looked like they could have gone either way, the Oilers and their leaders chose to fight through adversity. Now, just a little over 200 days later, they're fighting for a chance to raise the Stanley Cup.